goal from Yamal.
This is Lamine Yamal. He is the youngest ever player to play and score in the European Championships, the youngest player to represent Barcelona, and the youngest ever goal scorer in Barcelona, Spain, Copa del Rey and La Liga history. After only just recently becoming 17 years old, he's broken every record in front of him, and he's only just getting started. I mean, how often does a player become the youngest player to represent the senior team before becoming the youngest to represent the B team a week later? Despite being so young, he has shown the leadership and maturity to carry his teams, representing both Spain and FC Barcelona respectively. He comes from the prestigious Masia Academy in Barcelona, which has produced world-class talent year on year. But there's something different about this player. He isn't the typical Masia type of a dainty pass-and-move attacker. He's actually quite direct and deceivingly physical. So what's his story? And how has his upbringing created one of the most promising players in all of Europe? It all starts with why he does this when he scores. It's a homage to his hometown Mataró, more specifically Rocafonda, a working-class neighbourhood designed to house workers and immigrants in the 1960s. Despite its location and surrounding areas, Rocafonda is a humble neighbourhood of 120,000 inhabitants. The community has immense pride in Yamal. His extended family have a mural at their bakery, displaying proudly the flags of his parents' countries of origin in Morocco and Equatorial Guinea. Family has always been the cornerstone of his motivation. The 304 area code of Rocafonda is still an important number for him today, and despite the perception of the area being more negative, with talk of gangs and dilapidation, Yamal's family still reside there, and love talking with people about their star. Lamine never played at the local pitch. Instead, he had to use the next door concrete patch, which dons a now popular Rocafonda graffiti piece. This area was for children who couldn't afford the local registration fees to play on the actual pitches. It was here where Yamal would get the itch for football. This explains the difference he seems to have over the standard La Masia graduates, similar to that of the Brazilian talents of playing in street football before getting a more traditional footballing education. After his parents split, Yamal moved briefly to Roca del Valles with his mother and new partner Innocent Diaz, a coordinator for the local football team, CF La Torreta. Diaz saw the potential even at such a young age in Yamal, who signed him up for his first club. He would often tell Yamal that one day he would be playing for Barcelona, which he shrugged off. La Torreta would help the family financially, which was something that is common in order to keep the young talent to play for the club. It was an experience that Lamine relished in, until one day, something quite remarkable happened. Local lower league clubs often scouted these amateur clubs for talent. However, when one scout called his representatives, Yamal would be speechless with who he got in touch with. FC Barcelona brought in a then 7-year-old Yamal for a trial, and just one trial was all it took. He was signed up for a scholarship where he would continue his development living in FC Barcelona accommodation, visiting his family on weekends. His rise was swift. However, at 15 years old, an active in discipline along with 2 other players at the under-17s training camp in Algarve cost him his place for the elite round of the European Championship, along with a 4-match ban. Perhaps a reminder of his age despite his maturity on the pitch, Yamal was assigned a psychologist, and he quickly cleaned up his act and was receptive to his life lesson, and he never looked back. Unlike many stories where you'd see a player go through the youth ranks and make it as a footballer, this one is slightly different in the sense that Yamal is still just a kid, a 17-year-old academy graduate who was given the trust of Barcelona legend Xavi to express himself in a senior role in the first team. He could define an era, a natural replacement for the outgoing Dembele, as shy Yamal was introduced to the side in September of 2022. At the time, he recalls being too embarrassed to even look at the senior players when he was first introduced into the team. But what followed since his debut was record after record being broken. A lot of Yamal's early success comes down to his natural talent, yes, but also his mentality. He takes everything in his stride and is completely unfazed by the stature of any match, displayed recently with a fantastic performance in the quarterfinals for the 2024 European Championships. There are comparisons to a young Ronaldo or Wayne Rooney when they first burst onto the scene with their fearless approach to every match. Yamal is impressing everyone and going up through the levels, said Spain coach Luis de la Fuente, after his side opened their Euro 2024 campaign in style with a 3-0 win over Croatia. Spain was hasty to get Yamal into the team before he got put forward for his allegiance to Morocco. This is partly the reason why a 16-year-old is playing week in and week out in the grander stages, but it isn't the only reason. The other reason is he really has earned it. Spain needs him now more than ever. Their tiki-taka generation-defining era is over, and in recent tournaments, they've had all the possession without getting the results. In steps Yamal, someone with the end product who can see a teammate or an opportunity to score. It's no surprise Spain went on to win the entire tournament in this year's European Championship. After a goal on his debut, 2 goals and 4 assists followed in just 7 games for Spain. It's a remarkable achievement for any player beginning to represent their nation, never mind the youngest ever to do so. So what's his secret? A lot comes from his ability to trick fullbacks. Primarily left-footed, Yamal often pretends to go one way, then jinx another, before getting a deadly inside cross or shot at goal. His body feints are extremely effective. He's formed a frightening partnership with Nico Williams on the other flank. Their devastating pace and direct skill were on full display for the entire tournament. It's incredibly hard to stop, even though his opponents know exactly what he wants to do. Sometimes players just have the knack. You could look at Arjen Robben, Di Maria, or even Messi. However, the recent comparisons to the latter is quite unrealistic. Yamal is his own player, a direct, physical and bright talent that can take his career to the highest level. A comparison to one of the all-time greats invites unnecessary pressure, and Yamal knows this all too well. There are, of course, concerns with how young Yamal is and how often he's playing games. There were even discussions of Spain breaking German labour laws in this European tournament for playing Yamal past 9 o'clock, with him being underage. They were given the exception, but this really highlights the situation that Yamal is in. We've seen it in the past with Ansu Fati, Gavi and Pedri, where their progresses came to a halt, with so many minutes and later injuries. All 3 are great talents and still put on great performances, but their early projections were even higher than where they are now. You can see how it affects the longevity of a career as well by looking at the likes of Neymar or Ronaldo. After fantastic starts to their careers, by the age of 23, Ronaldo had scored over 200 goals for his club and country. They were inundated with injury after injury, some sustained from heavy tackles, and some by their bodies breaking down. The responsibility lies with the Spanish Federation and FC Barcelona to properly manage Yamal so that he can have a career with longevity. If he is properly nurtured, we could be seeing the next big thing in the footballing world. Will undoubtedly continue to flourish if we don't see any unfortunate injuries. Looking forward, Yamal is wanted by the likes of PSG, but Barcelona will be protected with an immense buyout clause. It seems like Yamal has the temperament to take football over the cash, so it's unlikely we will see him going anywhere, as Barcelona will be looking to make him the next poster boy for the Masia dynasty. To this day, he still returns to the cement patch where he learned his trade as a boy. Whenever I go to the neighbourhood and see that there are children who want to be like me, or I see a child wearing my shirt, it seems incredible to me. Now it's not just his neighbourhood who know him, but the entire world, and his story has only just started.